Hello there. Hi guys, it is Ronnie here. Hi, who have we got on? I've just unmuted you. Laura?
Hi, hello, yes.
Hi Laura, how are you?
Good. I'm glad you got over the technical difficulties.
Great. No, look, let me just, so we may have lost some people that have joined because of the time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I was
Yeah,
thinking
so,
you might send an email because I almost thought it was going to be not having it. So,
yeah, no, thank you so much for reaching out. Like, really appreciate your initiative and leadership. Unfortunately, was something beyond my control whereby my phone has also just lost coverage and signal, and I was on my way home stuck with traffic, so I couldn't get one of the team to launch this. So
no worries. I've had the same issue. I had teams in 29 countries, and it's happened quite a lot, even with expensive WebEx. So,
great. All right, awesome, great. Okay, I think we've got somebody else that just joined us. Magdalena? Magdalena, are you there? Can you hear us? You need to unmute yourself from your end.
and you
Hi,
can do
can you hear me?
yeah.
Yes, I can hear you now. All right, excellent. So guys, it's
I'm here.
welcome Magdalena. So it's 7. Let's begin. All right, so welcome guys to the FITBANKER Challenge pre-challenge info webinar. So we often hold a couple of free challenge webinars like this for people that are interested to find out what this is all about, what the hype is about, and why we're really effective and impactful in such a short span of time in making a difference the way we do and transforming lives the way we do. And the results that we've been causing have been really phenomenal. Our focus overall ultimately and will always be on health, and we are not one of those programs that are in the body image space. We really require one of the key rules that people have to love themselves the way they are when they start, because it's the only true access to power in their participation and performance. So let's talk about how you can unravel a new you and the FITBANKER Challenge, and we will share some of the amazing results that we've caused and what it takes to cause those kinds of results. So this is for two groups of people, those that are here to find out about something and those that have already signed up to an upcoming challenge and you want to get ready, you want to prepare for it, and we can offer you some advice of what you need to do to prepare, let you know of what the next steps are, and get you ready for the start of your challenge so you hit the road running. Great. So let's get started. Before we do, I'd love to set context. Very important piece I love to not overstep is spiritual inspiration. So this is a quote by the Dalai Lama, and when asked what surprised him most about humanity, he replied, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, and then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. You know, we're seeing this all too often nowadays. This is increasing and on the rise in this modern world where we have increasing stresses, and we have increased processed food consumption, and we are deprioritizing this vehicle called our body that we need to live and deliver our purpose in life. And I'm committed to really transforming that so that people get to be the best at whatever their purpose is, so that they know that they have this optimal vehicle within which to operate to deliver their purpose. And our ultimate mission is to disappear lifestyle diseases through simple, effective, and impactful education. It's all we do. It's what we've done to make a difference. And I really think that the solution to lifestyle disease is in the name itself. If we alter the lifestyle, the disease drops off. Great. So before we go ahead, just a quick introduction of myself. And as you know, I'm Ronnie. I'm the CEO and founder of FITBANKER. I'm going to share with you a bit about my story. We've been in existence for just over 18 months, 19 months now, and we've impacted hundreds of lives globally. We've had an outreach of a few thousand globally, but actually couple hundreds have participated in our programs, and from 15 countries and ages ranging from 16-year-old up to 70-year-old. I'll talk a bit more about our focus, but we've had phenomenal results, like in the weight loss area. People want to increase energy or increase strength. We've had men lose as much as 20 kilos in 90 days, and the female record is 15.8 kilos in 90 days. More importantly, we've had people come off cholesterol statins, off high BP medication, and mums who have been told that they may not be around for their kid's 10th birthday, now being told they're no longer pre-diabetic, they're no longer going to be diagnosed as type 2 diabetic, and they don't need their medication anymore. So that's our true commitment. I'm going to share some of that as we go through today's webinar. But before we do, I'd love to just check who we have on the call. So before we went live, if a couple of you could just let me know who you are, where you're dialing from, and what's one thing you want to learn from today.
Hi, so this is Laura Michelle. I'm calling from the U.S. and I am an enlightenment leader here in the U.S. and wanting to look at this opportunity for myself as well as some of my clients as maybe a partnership, because I believe that anything that I teach, health and well-being, has to come first, and then any of the spiritual intuition things that I teach will come after. So I was definitely looking at this for others and myself.
Awesome. Could I ask which part of the U.S. You're in?
Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago. Awesome. Amazing. Great. Welcome, Laura. Really awesome to have you on this call. And who else do we have on? Magdalena? You have to unmute yourself.
Ronnie. Yes, Ronnie. Well, I'm Magdalena. I live in London, and I'm starting the challenge on the 20th of February. I was so excited, and Ronnie was really, really kind to meet up with me and give me some beautiful tips. I've already lost, like I mentioned, almost 2 kilos, and I've lost some of my waist and waistline, and I also have so much more energy now. I'm really, really excited about the whole thing and about the mission of the FITBANKER to touch 1 billion lives and to transform them. To me, it's not a lifestyle change, it's a lifestyle transformation. You can go back on a change, you can't go back on a transformation. So I'm really excited about it.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Magdalena, for being on. And how do you feel energy-wise, other than the weight loss, and how do you feel energy and confidence-wise?
I feel a lot of energy, Ronnie. I mean, it's like my feet want to go to the park the minute I wake up, the minute I open my eyes.
Yeah.
I've stopped the caffeine and the sugar and the salt intake, as I shared with you. And the first 5 days were tough, but then I'm feeling so much better now.
Yep.
And actually I discovered that instead of having a coffee in the morning, what really gives me so much energy is having hot water with, lemon squeezed into it.
Yep.
And that's a real kick for me. And then I go to the park for my workout, and this is what sets me for the day together with my meditation. And I live beautifully every day. It's amazing.
Amazing. Really, really lovely to hear, Magdalena. And just looking forward to having you.
Thank you so much.
That begins, and for you connecting with the other participants. So we'll be setting.
I can't wait to connect with them. I can't wait to connect with them so we can share our journeys together. And thank you, Ronnie, personally, because you're such a dedicated person, such a lovely guy. And I'm sure that, you can transform the lives of so many people. So really, thank you so much.
Thank you. And so anybody listening in else on recording, or if you're on this webinar with us live now, you can have a look on my personal profile. About a week and a day ago, I think, I met up with Magdalena, and we did this lovely interview in a park, and we ended up with an amazing workout. But Magdalena was very generous to openly share her weight, her fat percentage, her concerns, and really putting that out there is the first step to removing what's in the way to causing a transformation. So having said that, let's get right into today's session. Before we crack on, I'd love to tell you a little bit about me and my journey from FITBANKER that I was to FITBANKER and how FITBANKER came about. So very quickly, I used to work in the city here in London. I've had about a 12-year career in finance and banking. I actually began my career in Africa, but the last 6 years were here in London, and I was vice president with JP Morgan. Beautiful lifestyle, a lot of jet setting, traveling the world, spent some time in New York and a host of places around Europe. And life was great, and I was very successful in my career. And I say that, and I believed I was successful, but I based that on the brand that I worked for, the title that was vice president, the salary that I earned, the bank balance that I had, and I thought those were measures of success. You know, we used to have a great lifestyle in the city. We used to have loads of parties, like that little photo there. That's not actually us, but it kind of puts into context the fun we had. And as a result of that lifestyle, going out and having drinks quite often and eating lavishly, what I thought was great, what I was doing for a lifestyle was, for livelihood, was at the expense of my life. And what turned out at the end of it was this guy. So this was me at what I thought was the peak of my career or peak of my life. Yet my whole 20s and my early 30s, well, up to the age of 33, I was the least fit, and I was very obese. I was 108 kilos, which is about 250 pounds, and I was about 30-something% fat. I had no idea what all that meant at that time. This is all stuff in hindsight. I know what I was carrying and how I was feeling. And personally, I didn't realize this, but I had low self-esteem, and I was able to disguise my self-esteem with things like my sense of humor, my career, my title, and so on. It was a great way for me not to want to deal with what was the byproduct of my body, which was my body. But at this point, when I thought I was living, you know, the peak of my life, I lived the life that money could afford. And about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, it was 2013, I was newly married, 9 months married, and on top of that, it was phenomenal news. We were 3 months pregnant, and we were expecting a baby. It was August 2013, and we are here in Fringe Festival in Edinburgh. I don't know if anybody's been to Fringe Festival, but it's like this amazing gathering that happens annually. It's the largest festival that happens in the world. The whole town converts into a festival, and artists and performers and comedians and musicians and you know, everyone in the world of talent come there to do a host of performances. And for the whole month of August, everybody goes down there. And we were there celebrating my wife's birthday, but also being 3 months pregnant. And I thought the future was absolutely beautiful, and it was, you know, everything was set for us to have this beautiful world to create for our baby that was coming into it. And while I thought it couldn't be more perfect, while we were there, everything took a 180-degree turn as we began the onset of a miscarriage. And my wife and I lost our baby. And in that moment, doing as human beings do, we immediately go into questioning, why us? You know, is there something wrong with us? Questioning our health. And to add salt to the injury, what happened later that day and the following day is I ended up stressing, and I had these random heart palpitations. And we came back to London, and when we got back here, I remember telling my wife, you know what, I'm just going to go to sleep, and I'll drink some water, I'll do some deep breathing. And she immediately yelled at me. She says, there's no way I'm waking up tomorrow having lost another one. And in that moment, it really, really pierced me. It really hit me that the way we relate to ourselves about our body and how we tell people that it's okay, I'm fine, I feel okay, don't worry about me, is the most selfish form of being, because it's not about us, but it's about others that bank on our fitness, hence the name FITBANKER. That evening, I spent in hospital with a whole host of sensors. You can see attached there to my leg, on my chest. You know, I had a drip in my arm. I had a whole host of blood tests being taken, ECG scans and stress tests being conducted on me. and I was really knackered, and this is an emergency. There was no space in the hospital that night. My wife was sat next to me on a chair, and she was dozing and falling asleep there. And I remember looking down at her with her head hanging off her chair as she didn't want to go home, saying to myself, I really, really don't want this. I really don't want a life where I'm in hospital, my family are there where they have to be brushed to support me. I don't want to be on medication or being on regular checkups and frequency. I've got better things to do out there. I've got a difference I can make with the world out there. And the second thing I knew about this was I could do something about it. Like, I could actually alter my health, and it's not something that is uncontrollable, right? I had a view that we can't control our health, but actually we can take actions that will alter and move our health in the right direction. What then happened is I spent weeks and months and over a year trying multiple diets, trying multiple exercise programs, trying a host of reading and research and everything. And it was very costly, and it was very time consuming, and I learned a lot through failure. I found a lot of what didn't work. And what I also did was I kept documenting my journey. And what was happening, I was creating subconsciously this education, this methodology that really works, because I learned so much from trial and error and consultation with personal trainers, nutritionists, friends in the fitness space, and anyone and everyone. You can see photos there of my journey as I was taking scales, as my weight went down first to 103, and then eventually down to 76.5. So 70 pounds I lost over that journey. Before that all happened, though, in the last 3 months of my transformation, I was on Facebook one day, and I see these guys start this body transformation challenge. And these guys hired best of the best trainers, and they're like successful millionaire entrepreneurs. And so I saw them, I know one of them, and he told me they were spending about £1,000 a month on a personal trainer. I thought, wow, it's crazy that people will pay that. And at the end of the 3 months, there wasn't much of a shift in them. But I paid £25 a month for a gym, and I used this education methodology that I'd learned. And I went, but then I'd already come down to 86.85 at the start of the year. And by end of that, altering predominantly my body composition, I reduced my body fat percentage, I upped my muscle mass, and what turned out was this guy at the end. And I really did it so publicly. Like, there's an album on my Facebook. If you go under photos and albums, you'll see in my personal profile, there's a whole album of my journey from fat me to fit me. And when I went through this transformation, I literally had people sending me friend requests and everybody messaging me for, no exaggeration, for about 45 days straight. Emails, questions, friend requests, phone calls, text messages. Hey, I heard about your transformation. Can I speak to you about this? Can I ask about that? And I was really clear that not everybody wanted to be a bodybuilder. They just wanted to lose weight. They just wanted to feel a bit more energetic. They just wanted a little more strength. And they were living a world where they were resigned that because of their age or because of their genes or because of their some health condition, they convinced themselves that they couldn't do anything about it. But then they saw that I interrupted all those limiting points of view there, those limiting beliefs. And I was able to transform. And I thought I could really make a difference to them. So I would tell people, and they would take this information, and 2 or 3 weeks later, they'd come back and ask me the same question. I'll say, hang on, I just told you that. And I realized that I want to really make a difference to them. I have to create a structure that works. I have to be available for them. And I want them to have something at stake to have them participate, so that it's not just a bit more of insight or what I call brain farts and added information that doesn't make a lasting difference to them. And so FITBANKER was born, and I went out there and I said, would anybody like to be mentored by me for the next 90 days of creating this program? And I thought maybe I'll have 7, 8, 9, 10 polite friends. And then we put a link for people to register, and 60 people signed up. And I'm like, oh God, I got to do this now full time. And so that was the birth of FITBANKER. But now through this program, let's have a look at what we've really created, right? So we've had on this program, this is a doctor from San Francisco. Her name is Dr. Diksha Patel. And she did 2 programs with us. She did the first one, and halfway through she caused some wrist injury, not as a result of us, but something else happened and she injured her wrist, so she had to discontinue. She came back on a second challenge and she finally took the program by design. She lost 9.1 kilos. I'm very grateful and humbled to say this. We've had 8 medical doctors do our program, a number of them from the US, a few from the UK. This is a dentist, Chani. She lost 8.6 kilos in 90 days. After she had a baby, she had it that after moms have a baby, you just can't get your body back in shape. So for 9 years, she was very busy with her education and her career and raising a child, and she thought that she couldn't do anything about her body, that she was destined to be stuck with that body. And now this is her having lost 19 pounds. This is Alyssa. Alyssa was wanted to be an actress, and she had real aspirations to be this actress on play or on stage, and she felt that her appearance was holding her back. She joined this program to transform that in 90 days. She lose 11.3 kilos. I can very, very proudly say she's done 2 challenges, and I can very proudly say 2 weeks ago she's landed a role in one of the UK theatre shows. So she's going to be featuring in one of the productions, which is really amazing. And I'm just so happy that we get to make the difference to people, that they go to live their life and whatever they want. These guys are who I call the fit doctors. These guys came down to London for a TED Talk. When they came down to London for a TED Talk, I don't know them. I've never met them before. But somebody said, you've got to meet this guy called FITBANKER, connected them to me on Facebook. And we just met for one dinner. On that dinner, just as I spoke to Magdalena, offering her some tips, I gave them some tips. So they flew back. This was like October or November 2015. They started it, and within a week, their weight started plummeting. And they're like, oh my God, how did this happen? They joined our January challenge, and at the end of it, you can see what's turned out. These guys have been doing for 2 or 3 years. They've been running this thing called Drive for Men's Health. The guy on the right is a very frequent guy who appears on Fox 35, Fox News in the US. And they would go around talking about health, but they were both overweight and obese. And they do this program, and now they look like those lean guys on the right, and people love them. And now they get to be the symbol of their work. And I love that we get to make that difference. We've had 8 or 9 medical doctors do this, and I'm impressed that we can make that difference to them. This is Rebecca. We cater for vegans. She's a vegan. She says, can you do something for me? I said, absolutely. So we cater for vegans, vegetarians, lacto-vegetarians, lactose intolerant, pescatarians, non-veg, whatever, right? We will cater for that in offering you ideas, what we call meal plan ideas, and we'll talk about what gets provided in the program. She lost 15 kilos at 33 pounds. Massive shift in her confidence. She went on to move and start her career in San Francisco, something she's been working on for years. But we tend to find, and I'm not, there's a strong correlation that there's a boost in people's confidence when at a certain age, when they are resigned in their mind as to what's possible for them, it shifts, they go on to do a host of things. So we've had people who've transformed their relationships, their careers, their businesses, whatever it may be. And I'm really grateful that we can make that difference. This is David. He used to work for the UN in the Netherlands. This was him in 45 days. He caused some phenomenal results. This is Andrew Walker. He just did his challenge in the last one that finished in December. He is now doing a second one because he wants to further lose his weight. What I love about his story that he told us is it's a sad thing I say, and I'm going to tell people now, over the next 90 days, whether you're on this program or not on this program, someone in your life, somebody close to you or someone you know is going to be diagnosed with a lifestyle disease, or is going to lose their life, or is going to be under some life-threatening condition, because that's just the way the world is now. And we become more aware of it when we are actually interested in, this is an area I want to transform. And I remember sharing that, and I feel in a way bad about it, but it is what happens. I shared that at the start of Andrew's challenge. And during his challenge, his mom got diagnosed, or she had cancer, but she was told that it's now reached final stages. And he flew out to Canada to be with her, and it was during the challenge his mom actually passed away. But he called back and he told me, Ronnie, I remember you told me this at the start of the challenge, but I just want to tell you something. My mom told me in the last week that she was around, she saw me having transformed my health, and that I'd lost so much weight. She said, Andrew, I'm really, really grateful that you're finally taking action in the area of health. That's something we don't have control over, and I'm so pleased that you can. And he was so pleased that he found this challenge, and that his mom's wishes of him transforming his health came true before she passed away. He naturally anchored in the January challenge, so he's doing this next challenge, and he lost, what, 20-something pounds, and he's ongoingly losing his weight to get to his optimal weight. This is a guy, Harish Patel from South Africa. Him and his wife joined the challenge, both very hesitant at the start. and concerned. How will we do this? How will we cater for my baby? How will we cater for each other? What if we need different foods? And I assured them that it will work for the whole family. It works when couples do it together. When families do it together, it just makes the whole family conscious and transforming at the same time. He went on to lose about 17 kilos, 37 pounds. Yeah, 37 pounds he lost, which was really awesome. And both him and his wife are just grateful that they get to now raise their child into a very healthy world. But some of my favorite stories are in the area of health impact. This one is a lady called Vaimani. She's in Virginia. And when she joined, I remember her saying she wanted to join. She reached out to me a couple of times and she said, I'm pretty tight on money. I can't afford to join it. I said, what are you spending your money on? And she says, you don't understand. I have a host of health issues. I said, tell me about them. And she was diagnosed after having a baby, a third child, with gestational diabetes. She was then pre-diabetic, and she was spending money on medication and injections and insurance and whatnot. And she's actually a phlebotomist, so she works in a lab in the health space. Yet nobody there, none of the doctors and nurses there have a solution for her other than jabs and medication. And she joins our program, and she actually said, you know what, Ronnie, I'm going to trust you in this. I'm going to sign up to the program. And she was crying because the doctors told her that week, you may not be around for your kids. And not even a month into the program, her weight just started plummeting, and the doctors told her, you don't need to continue your medication. You're no longer pre-diabetic, and you're no longer in risk of being type 2 diabetes. And she did a beautiful post where she posted a picture of all her jabs and medications saying, I no longer need this. If anyone needs this, it costs a lot of money, and I know it's hard for those that are diagnosed with diabetes. Please feel free to take this away if anybody wants this. Another one is Ushma. This is a lady from Zambia. From size 20, came down to size 14. I think she's now size 12, if I'm not mistaken. But what I love about her and our contribution to life is she has a baby, a child, and they were trying again for a baby, and they were struggling. And they decided to go the IVF route. So they went to the IVF clinic, and the IVF clinic refused to start her IVF process because she was still overweight. So they told her to go and lose weight and come back in a year's time. Now, biological clock is ticking. She goes back in a year's time, and she said, I tried every lotion, potion, medication, diet, wraps, and all kinds of stuff I've never heard of. And she only lost 3 or 4 kilos. She was still overweight, and the IVF clinic refused her to start. She signed up last January to our challenge. By week 10, she had lost about 10 kilos. She overall lost 12.8 kilos in the whole challenge. By week 10, they had approved her to start her IVF process. So 10 weeks from when she thought it's the end of the world and she won't have another child, they approved her to start her IVF process. And I can happily say that was last January, and now she has, I think, the 2.5-month-old twins. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful that we could make this difference to Ushma's life. And her weight loss allowed her to start that process. And then this guy is my hero. He's a 70-year-old man. I call him Dad. And he was my litmus test. I said, Dad, if I have to demonstrate I can transform the world, you and Mom have to do this program. So both him and Mom signed up to my program. Dad was 90 kilos at the age of 70. He'd been living for the 10 years prior from his 60s on statins and high BP medication. He has one of those big pill boxes that says Monday to Sunday, with 3 or 4 compartments in it, and he would move with this, and every meal he's popping pills. And he does our program. Before he started, he came here on holiday, what he thought was holiday, and he lost 6 kilos within a month and a half or something like that. And then he goes on to sign up formally onto the program and do the program by design, and he goes from 90 kilos down to 72.5. So about 18 kilos, 20% of my dad's body was wiped off, and we had rehomed that fat. And Dad came down to a very safe fat percentage. The doctors, without my advice, when he went for a review, the doctors told him to totally discontinue his statins and his high BP medication, and there's absolutely no need for that. And the reason I got my dad to have a real skin in the game is I told him that we don't have a child yet, and we weren't even pregnant then, and I never got to meet my granddad, who passed away from type 2 diabetes. So I sat my dad and my mom down, and I said, guys, it really matters that you guys are around for your grandkids, and none of your kids right now have any kids or are expecting, so we'd love for you guys to hang around a lot longer. And that conversation was a deep conversation with me and them, and they both took it on. Mom lost 8 kilos at the age of 67, and Dad lost 18 kilos. And they're just a lot more healthier. Great. So that's some of the amazing results. Now, just to quickly touch on what we are and what we're not, we're very clearly an education system. So we're providing amazing, simple, effective, and impactful education. You've seen some of the results. We're also really committed to developing leaders. So most of you have found out about this program because you've seen someone else's. We share on social media for purpose and reason. We really want to use social media positively. We want to alter what is being there. We don't want social media to be filled with people moaning about Trump, or people moaning about the crap weather, or people moaning about how much they hate their job. We want it to be filled with people up to something in life. And so we invite our participants to be a leader out there on social media and inspire others into action. So you'll find, if you follow me on Facebook on the page, there are people daily at the gym. They might tag me, they might share what they're up to, and then they share their progress results as they go through their 90 days. What we are not, we're not a gym. We're not offering personal training, because you can hire a personal trainer. Even when doing this program, we do recommend it for those people that are not familiar with certain exercises. I am a personal trainer. I am a nutritionist. I'm not a nutritional advisor. They're different definitions for those two. So we're not diagnosing any allergen or health condition, or I'm not providing any long-term meal replacements for you. What we're doing is we're teaching you on healthy education. So with this education, you have the power to make the choices, and it's lasting. What we're going to do over the 90 days is we have you unlearn everything you know, because consider whatever you know isn't empowering you into action. We also have on our campus people who've done the program, personal trainers, nutritionists, naturopaths, and like I said, 8 or 9 medical doctors, nurses, a host of athletes on our program. So there's a lot of people in the campus who would gladly answer your questions and support you, and so can we. My other teammate, Emma Coyne, she's a midwife for many years, and she did this challenge, and she lost 20 kilos last year in 2016, and she's come on to the team on a voluntary basis because she's so moved by the difference that we're making, and she's really committed to, she basically wanted to be a fittest at 40, and she did this program at the age of 39. By November, she celebrated her birthday, and she's the fittest 40-year-old she could have wished to be. If you take on the program, always put safety first and go by the gym rules and so on. So what do we work on over this program when we talk of the muscles that we develop? There are muscle groups that we talk of. So what are these muscle groups? What we mean by muscle groups, we actually mean these: spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. We have a spiritual muscle, right? This is connected to our purpose, our mission, our role in life. Then there's our mental muscle, right? So we develop this mental muscle, which is subconsciously over this program. We're going to have you understand things like understanding the technical side of stuff. What are macros? What are calories? What kind of deficit do I need to create to cause weight loss? What macros translate into storage? What macros translate into energy? What macros translate into muscle? And then the emotional muscle. So all of us have a relationship to food. We have a relationship to exercise. Pain is simply a definition. It's a message. It's a signal being sent from a part of your body to your mind that's saying, uh-oh, perceived threat. Taste is the same thing. Our tongue, our eyes, our ears, our touch, our 5 senses are designed to identify perceived threats, to smell something, to taste something. But what's happened now, we're living in a world where the world is offering products and services to seduce our senses. So every decision we make that is driven by our senses are actually senseless decisions. By the time we're at the gates of St. Peter's and we're dying, you'll find when we look back on life that all those things that we did wrong, where we erred in life, whether it's in love, in relationships, career decisions, or in our health, it's where we allowed our senses to get the better of us. So they were actually senseless decisions. So we coach you emotionally on those triggers and hooks that you have to why you self-sabotage, why you go back to eating junk, and how you can build this muscle to have you be committed to something greater. It's what we call your greater why. And you get that when you sign up. There's a questionnaire you have to complete. Physical muscle. Of course, we work on physical muscle. We're going to invite you to start relating to your body as this phenomenal vehicle that you want to be in tip-top shape. So you've got to develop the muscle. A lot of people do just running or walking, and then you neglect your upper body. But especially women, as we grow older, osteoporosis is something that impacts women because they neglect a lot of muscle groups. And not just women, it's also applicable to men. So it's for everyone to really develop their physical body as we go through this program. So now those of you on the program, those of you already signed up, you might be listening to it on the recording, or you might be here with us today. I want to really give you what causes these phenomenal results. How do we really get this? And if you're somebody that's considering, I really want you to understand this and think about this. First of all, hundreds have gone before you, right? Like I'm really proud of that, and we're going to grow, and our commitment is that we reach thousands within 2017, and we're playing for a game of 1 billion lives. And I really think this is something that should get into school curriculum, part of the national standards. We should never stop educating ourselves as humanity on how to take care of this vehicle called the body. It needs to be in secondary schools, high schools, universities, and corporate life. It needs to be taught so that we're not neglecting this vehicle. So firstly, I invite you guys to trust the system. We've learned through a lot of error. I've caused injury by training overweight. I've damaged my knee because I was running at 103 kilos. I shouldn't be running at that weight, right? It's high impact to my knees, and it damaged my cartilage. But there are other ways I can lose weight without causing damage. So trust, first of all, the system that we've put together, the combination of physical, mental, psychological exercises that we get into, and they cause brilliant results. Secondly, we're big on what we call declaration and sharing. Like I said earlier about social media, the reason our program requires you to post your before photo. So Magdalena, you've signed up, and as I mentioned, we'll add you to the campus as soon as you post your before photo. You should have received an email when you signed up of the format of how to take that before photo. Once you've collaged it together, you've made it into one combined photo, you post it to our Facebook page, the public one. Once that's done there, we will add you to the closed campus where the other participants are, and there's a library of content in there as well. But there's a psychological and emotional connection to declaring something and that showing up in reality. So when you declare with your community, your online circle of friends, that this is what I'm up to, I'm transforming my health, many people are either driven by fear or love. Most of our actions are either to avoid fear or to embrace something that we have massive love for. We invite people to be driven by their love for themselves, love for optimal health, not fear of what other people will think, because that fear is what keeps us playing small in life, and that's the fear that keeps us be not confident. Like I said, there are many other breakthroughs that come out of this. And sharing your journey. When I kept sharing what I was up to, I would get these likes and loves and comments below it. And at some point I asked myself, is this egotistical about me? And I got very clear for myself that whenever I share and post, and I invite our participants to do that, don't ever share, don't share to show off. It's very hollow, it's shallow. Share because you know that there's somebody out there just like you were that thinks this can't be done. And my invite to you is to share to them, to let them know it's possible, that you can be the person that inspires them. Another great guy that did this was Muhammad Ali. He said his declaration sharing, I am the greatest, and I said that even before I knew I was. You know, there's a spiritual aspect to this. We say that the world intends you to fit into what you declare you're up to. I'm going to say that again. The world intends you to fit into that which you declare you are up to. So when Muhammad Ali said he was going to knock out George Foreman, right, he went and shared it. The more he shared it, he got on BBC, he got on this, it was Rumble in the Jungle. The more people that he told he was up to this, the more that showed up in reality. Steve Jobs does the same thing. Steve Jobs called it reality distortion field. He would share what they're going to create with Apple Mac that year before it even happened, and then it would fit into what he declared was happening, right? 2017, you have these forwards of what's being created in 2017. They're being first declared or shared before they show up in existence. Obama did that. I have his picture there because 2 weeks ago, his campaign 8, 9, 10 years ago was yes we can, and when he did his final farewell speech, he said yes we did, right? That's a demonstration of what's possible with the power of declaration. The third one is the community and support, right? So whether you choose to join our program or you don't choose to do our program, and I'm really committed that whoever listens in, you take on transforming. there are certain things that will really make a difference, and one is community. You got to surround yourself with people that are up to the same thing that you are up to. You know, Jim Rohn, who was Tony Robbins' guru, says you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with, right? Think about that. In this world, you don't need to physically be in the room with them. You can spend time with those people online through social media. That's the world we're in now. And today, you guys are hanging out with me. You know, someone in London, somebody in New York, and a host of you listening to this on the recording wherever you are in the world, right? But we're hanging out on social media. So I invite you guys to surround yourself with those 5 people on our closed FITBanker campus that are up to something. But don't come there like I want to get from you. Come there like you want to be one of those 5 people that uplifts them, and you'll discover your greatness in that as well. So community and support. We're also there whenever you ask questions. Can I eat this? I'm struggling. I'm feeling low on energy. What do I do? Whatever you ask, there's a swarm of people ready to support you on that community. They've all been through the same thing. They've all asked the same questions. How much protein should I eat? When should I exercise? Does this yoga burn X amount of calories? Whatever your questions are, we get to support you in this community, and you get to use us, right? 4th one is goal setting and planning. We say this, failing to plan is planning to fail, right? On a Sunday, we invite people in your diary, literally put it down to your diary. This is, I'm going 4 days this week. The 4 days that I'm going are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm going to take Wednesday off. Wednesday, I'll just go for a casual walk. The other days, I'm going to go for gym sessions. They'll be an hour to hour and a half long. I'm going to be there for that class at 7 a.m. On the next day, I'm going to be there 6:30 p.m. On Thursday, I'm going to be there at this time, and so on. Declare that, set it up in your plan, put it in your diary. There is a 40% more likelihood that by you writing it down, somehow research has demonstrated that if you actually handwrite it down, there's a greater correlation to it happening than you making a mental note of it. So we do recommend people do that and honor their word. And when you do that, and if you don't get to go, we also coach you on what we call don't make yourself wrong. So don't build up what we call this make wrong pile of poo, or a guilt trap, right? So the more you make yourself wrong for not being in action, it's a brilliant way to disempower yourselves. So our commitment is whenever we see you're about to disempower yourself, we're going to work with you to cut it out, right? And that might be a live video that I'll do on the campus. That might be you posting saying you're struggling, and people will support you and respond to that. And we'll have you rewire a relationship to being in action. And the 5th one is accountability. This accountability is very distinct from accountability like you're responsible or you're to blame or somebody has to hold your hand to keep you accountable. Accountability is, because I come from the world of finance, I was amazed at us human beings. We're such funny creatures. Every January in the UK, you have to submit what's called your tax returns. So you have to declare how much money you earned in the year and how much you spent, and then based on that, the net earnings less some allowance you pay in tax. I'm like, wow, we have so much respect and fear, and we're answerable to this guy called the tax man, but we don't do that to our bodies. Why do we not account for our bodies? How much calories come in and how much we spend? We don't just do that to our bodies. Why not? Why do we respect the taxman more than this own vehicle ourselves? So there are some tools that we use. We use these apps, and Magdalena, specifically for you, I'm going to invite you to take a screenshot for this, because we're going to talk about this also in webinar 1, which is going to be in the first week of your program. But I want you to start setting this up now. So if you download these 2 apps for now, Runkeeper and MyFitnessPal, there are a few other apps that we use, but we're going to look at these 2 on today's session. Runkeeper is an app where you're going to track and record your activity. Now, the reason we use these 2 apps is that I have enhanced access rights in both these apps. I can review your diaries and your actions, and I can like and follow and so on. So also search for me, add us. It's called FITBanker. Even if you're listening on this webinar or you're joining in, if you want to see what I am up to, what I eat, you want to see my diary, you can still search FITBanker, add me, and you can follow and comment and like there as well. What you have to do with Runkeeper, when you're out on a walk, you have to switch your GPS settings on so it records the walk. If you're walking on a treadmill, then there's a way you manually log it in. So we can explain how to do that. I have a video on our YouTube channel that explains that. MyFitnessPal as well, there's a video there which will help you set that up. So if you go to YouTube, search for FitBanker and look for how to use MyFitnessPal, There's a video explaining that there. Now, when you do this, there's a setup place where you have to put in your age, put in your current weight, put in your target weight. It then recalculates what we call your calories that you're allowed to consume in a day, right? The optimal calories that will allow you to reach your target weight. Your macros, which is your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates, they default to some other setting in MyFitnessPal. We invite you to alter this to 30% protein, 30% fat, and 40% carbs. On the program, we will coach you as to what types of carbs, what types of fats, and so on, because not all of them are the same. Different types of carbs and fats have different effects to your body. So we go really deep on understanding, and it's not at the basic level of plus minus of calories, which is not what we want to make of our participants. We want to really give you real education that's lasting, that you can empower and share with others, and that causes results. For us to review your diary, go to diary settings, diary sharing, and change that to public so I can view what's there. Please add me. And I will only review your diary when you're on the program, and once you've recorded everything for 5 days in a row, then I can go in and review, and then I can give you some constructive feedback. Each week on the program, or each webinar on the program, there will be assignments or some small challenges that we invite you to take on, and we invite you to take those on, play as a sport, do the system by design. That will guarantee you results. And sharing what you're up to out there so that you inspire others. Even now, as you're listening on, you might be thinking, you know what, there's that person in my life, and they are resigned, and they've given up that something can be done about their body. She thinks she's too old. She thinks she has a medical condition. She thinks I love cupcakes too much. I just can't live without cupcakes. Think of that person right now. Consider that you're a leader, someone that can actually alter that person's life. Stand for that person to join you as a buddy on your health transformation journey. Whether you do it just you and them, whether you want to join our program, entirely up to you. But think about this. You can actually alter another human being's life because you decide to put your foot down and stand for them, and you tell them to draw a line under that lifestyle that they've been living. And finally, we talk about leadership. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Tough Mudder. This is a thing that I've done now like 2-3 times. But last year was really amazing. We did it with a Paralympian on wheelchair, because I'm really committed to making people believe in themselves, that they can do things that they thought they couldn't do. So we took a guy on a wheelchair through this. It's about 10 to 12 mile going through mud and electric shocks and barbed wire and all kinds of stuff and ice skips. And it was really brilliant taking them through. But one of the favorite analogies of leadership I like is this challenge called pyramid scheme. Because the way it works, and this is also how our program works, is you see those girls in the green frocks at the bottom. They get down and dirty below. They put their back up against that. They get someone to step on them and stand on their shoulders. That person becomes the foundation for the next person that they uplift in life, right, as they do on this pyramid scheme. That person then pushes up the next person. The people that go ahead of them are now the elevated souls, the leaders that get to uplift the rest of humanity. And that's what we invite people to do on our program. We invite you to be those people at the top that are pulling others up as well, not giving up on humanity and not allowing what is now the biggest cause of death, lifestyle diseases, to dominate. We're inviting each of you to make that difference and to uplift people out of the ignorance that they're in and shed light. And it's simply education that we do. It's why we don't, we're not big on stuffing you with any supplements that we're promoting. We tell you what we truly believe is the best out there of any other supplements that we've tried and tested, and we'll find more for you, and we'll keep updating our research. And this is the leadership that once you get up there, you get to uplift others. And that's our commitment to developing leaders. And ultimately, all we want for each of you and everyone in this world out there is your access to transforming others is not by telling somebody, you go and do this, you go and do that. The more we tell that to people, the more they don't want to be told what to do. But we invite each of you to be the change you wish to see in the world. It's the only way that has ever worked to transform and inspire others into action, just as Gandhi did. All right, guys, so that's all that we had for today's webinar. Are there any questions that you have? You can now unmute yourselves if you have any questions that you'd love to ask, and I'm happy to go back to any slide if you'd love to clarify anything.
Yes, Ronnie, thank you so much for the information. I've actually downloaded MyFitnessPal already, but I didn't know that you have a YouTube video because I don't want, I didn't really know how to sort of run it and operate it. I'll text you later I don't know how to add you as a friend. I'll try, and I'll text you later my ID as well, so maybe you can befriend me there. And I'll start putting the calories. I did put my age, the weight, and everything else, and it says that for me to lose, my target is to lose 750 grams a week. Yeah. So for me to do that, it says I need to have no more than 1,200 calories a day.
Okay, so what I'm going to invite you to do for you, Magdalena, is put your current weight, put your target weight, and put a by when date. Once you've done that, say that you want to lose 1 kg a week, not 0.75.
Okay.
Just adjust that in the setting. Let it recalculate and reconfigure your calorie intake. And on no day should no one on the program should ever consume less than 1,000 calories. What we don't do is we don't suppress food on this program. We eat like there's no tomorrow. We eat 5 or 6 meals, but it's what we eat that will alter the composition of our body. So yeah, if you just send me a message as well on Facebook, I can send you the link for the YouTube video.
Great, thank you so much. And also what I like about your program is that you make it so easy for people. Like, again, I was open and honest with you, and I said, look, I don't think I can run. So you said to me, that's fine. You can just take 3 walks a day in the park, like a brisk walk.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're gracious enough to show me some other exercises. So basically, now I don't, I mean, my brain doesn't go, oh, you know what, that's too difficult, forget it. On the opposite, I'm excited. My brain is excited. My body is even more excited. Yeah. And it's given me so much confidence. I've already been shopping, clothes shopping last Sunday. I can see the difference already, you know, in my waistline. Yeah. And I've been for a sexy haircut today. So I feel great.
Amazing.
So thank you so much. I mean, it's for the simple tips. I mean, I think what changed it around for me is your simple tips, making it so easy, yeah. And so approachable, and that's what did it, because I've joined gyms in the past, like I've told you, but I've never been successful. Yeah. Because my brain was making this connection, oh, a gym, it's too hard. You need to get dressed, you need to go there, you need to do this and that and the other, and it's going to take half of your day, and you're going to get tired, and you can't really do these exercises. With your program, is so simple and it's so easy, and that's why I'm so grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Magdalena. And I just wanted to add that you will definitely feel different because you're also alkalizing your body with the smoothies that we've recommended. And just a heads up, you will probably change your wardrobe 2 or 3 times. From my experience, I had to change my wardrobe about 2 or 3 times. So what I did was I was shopping for the wardrobes in between from shops that were rather affordable, and then I would go back for the same brand of jeans, just 2 inches smaller. But thank you so much for sharing that. Laura, question from you?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It sounded like it clicked off. One was I saw on your video the other day that you talked about the different body types. I had 2 questions. One was, you know, you were talking about the weightlifting body types, the endomorph, and those types of things. Yeah. And a plan that would be kind of, you know, not customized, but something that would be generalized towards those. I'm not sure if this may be answered with your questionnaire at the onset of the program. It may be, but I was just kind of wondering how that come into play, as well as Ayurvedic, and are those meal plans like for a daily meal plan, and are the recipes also included, or with that meal plan? Okay.
Sure. So let me answer that. So when you sign up, you get a questionnaire, and in the questionnaire there are there's about I don't know, total of maybe about 20 questions. You need about 30 minutes set aside to complete the questionnaire. Questions are understanding your body type. Now, Ayurveda is a 5,000-year-old science, and it's been working wonders for those that understand it and follow it. And Ayurveda, however, because it's 5,000-year-old, was created and catered for a lifestyle that was lived a long time back, where lives and daily routine were very labor-intensive. What we've done is we've looked at our body types according to Ayurveda. We've looked at our body types according to Western science, which is bodybuilding, which is from the 1950s only. So it only was post-World War that it became categorized as a sport or something. And and they both have 3 body types that more or less correspond to each other. In Ayurveda, you have Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and in the other one you have ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. And your body type has certain advantages and disadvantages. Your body type has certain foods that work for it and certain foods that work against it. So I tell people that most of us go and Google a program, what to do, or we go and join a gym. And most personal trainers, unfortunately, even when I trained as a personal trainer, I was quite disappointed I was quite surprised that we are all being taught the same way to train people as they walk in, rather than create something specific to their body type or needs. And and when you know that, you don't, what I call informational health is like playing checkers, where everybody in the gym makes the same moves. Whereas transformative health, which is what we coach on, is like chess. If you're built like a castle, you train like a castle. And if you're built like a queen, you train like a queen. And that's what we offer on our program.
So it's strategic. So it's a strategic program towards the particular body types that are sussed out with the questionnaire.
Yeah, so it's based on body type. It's based on a number of categories: body type, gender, age, and goal. So goal means weight loss, weight gain, weight maintain. And the 5th category is any meal restrictions. So what we do is we have identified a host of meals that work for various body types. And inside there, we provide the meals that are very simplistic to understand, and they will have a range of weights. So it might say, have 150 to 200 grams today of, say, steamed broccoli, right? And then there's a way you can prepare it that's explained. It's not explained, but it might say saute with garlic and onion and so on. So that's that's straightforward to understand. There are certain dishes there that if you don't understand, we've given a name where if you actually just Google recipe for that, it will show up, right? So we put the name that's very easy to identify. We do have, I'm just sharing this with you, but it's not part of the program, but we do have in the background, we're working on offering recipes as a separate thing. It's not part of this program, but we're building up some recipes that we're going to offer participants. So
that's good. Yeah,
so that will come. We do offer recipes for smoothies. I just want to add that.
Okay, no, that's helpful because there are some times where, I'm more of like a pescatarian and have chicken mostly and don't eat, beef or pork, and it's hard to kind of substitute sometimes for the protein denseness of 30% if there's not substitution. On the exercise, what is your thoughts and what is your view of, is it 80-20? Is it, with your food and your exercise program? What is your school of thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a general consensus of view, but how it's ever measured, I hardly know. There's nobody that has an answer to how they measure it. They say that 80% of your results of what makes a difference has got to do with nutrition and 20% to do with exercise. I say actually we disagree with that. We say 10% only has got to do with exercise. We say 40% has got to do with nutrition, but 50% has got to do with your mindset and your willingness and openness to discover a new methodology that works, but not only works, but one that empowers you to be in action. Because most of us know a lot of the theory, but the reason we don't implement that theory is because it's not presented to us in an empowering context that will inspire us to go out there and take action. So as Magdalena was sharing, she's easily able to go out there and shift stuff because the way we present and the order we frame our delivery of our content just makes sense. And when something makes sense to you, like, there's no way I'm going back to that old lifestyle. So my transformation over just about now 19, 20 months ago, I've maintained my weight off. My old man lost his weight in 4.5 months, and he's maintained his weight off, as with all those other people whose photos we showed. Because you cannot unlearn this science. Once you've got it, it's for life.
Right. I agree that intention without action equals suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I actually teach. And then on each of your programs, if we can talk maybe offline, but I was looking to have something as a partnership to recommend to my clients. How many people can you accept currently on a program at one time?
On a program, we currently can accept up to 100. And I'll be honest, we have the one starting on 20th February. We have a number of people that signed up. A lot of people tend to sign up in the last week, and they end up just paying more. So we currently have an early bird price, which is going to last only till Sunday or sooner if it gets sold out.
Okay.
We haven't had the 100 capacity. The 100 I say is because of technological constraints, because we use GoToWebinar.
Sure.
But we've had around about the 50 mark.
Okay. I just taking that into consideration as I would, want to take, and I'm looking for something that has the same mindset as I teach, and the mental model and the framework that I teach is about intention.
Got it.
And so it really aligns with that wonderfully, because intention without action, you're not getting it.
We say to create at the start of your program what's called your greater why that you're doing this. So when you stay committed to that's your why through your program, you don't get disempowered by you looking in the mirror and saying nothing has changed from last week, or you looking at a number on the scale and saying nothing has changed. But if you get that actually I'm somebody that's leading this enlightenment program, and that those lives matter on me, and that's the purpose that I exist for, and I need to be my optimal health so that I get to be around longer to serve them and more. When you're out of that context and you really, really get your self-worth, you'll be driven to be in action.
Well, yeah, the work that I do with intuition and mediumship requires a lot of energy. And having been sick for the past year and on steroids, I was an executive vice president for large pharmaceutical companies and do not believe in pharmaceuticals. So having the energy to do the work is inherently crippling if you don't have it. And I like the fact that when you are healthy, and this program promotes and promulgates energetic, healthy being.
Yeah.
Because that's at the core of the practice, and it has to be there, or it's not going to be successful.
Yeah, awesome.
I'll just add to everything you said, guys, that if we can connect our why, if we have a strong why, and we connect it to our spiritual vision, to a strong spiritual vision, then that's going to be a massive driver for us to achieve our goals ultimately, because we can always go back to that vision. If it gets too tough, then we can always reconnect our vision and take it from there. We can always change our approach once we have a strong spiritual vision and a strong why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. When you have a why, you definitely want to cement that as your mindset and have that mindfulness practice. But you don't want to go back, because once you desire it and you achieve it, you release it and allow the universe to bring it to you. So your intention and your desire become successful and allow that seed to grow and develop along the right pathway. So
yeah,
really, really, really great that you have that mindset and that type of holistic view and vantage point of a spiritual being. So it's wonderful.
Yeah. So I just want to share as well that just be mindful of time, because I don't want the intention was to stay within an hour. That
sure.
Just crossed an hour. So if there are any final questions, and also just to your question around a team or participants, if you we have what's called a buddy referral code. So if you refer somebody, then if you paid a higher price, you will get 10% off your price, and they will also get that reduced price. So if it's $249 at the moment, with the buddy code, it becomes $225. But if you sign up now and they sign up later, then we will just reverse the credit via PayPal back to you. So that's one of the things that we do. If you miss out on the early bird that's there now, then you will get 10% off the higher price.
Okay.
But then that's another £100.
Yeah, I'm looking to do partnership for long term as I go through this and have it where it's a constant part of the program as part and parcel, that this is something, you know, I have a mental framework model that they have to do before they even can do my classes. And so this would be part of that.
Okay, so I would love to explore that. However, we recommend, because we've had a lot of similar partnership requests, and we've one-off engaged with one party, but it makes a difference when people have gone through the program, that they understand it, and then it makes sense for partnerships. And but also you can ask me any questions that you're uncertain of, so that you may want to commence already with somebody at the moment and do the journey together. Yeah.
Thank you for answering everything. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you, Ron.
Just give me a shout if anything else comes up.
I will. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Magdalena. And have a powerful afternoon. Yes, Magdalena?
Thank you so much, Ronnie. I'll send you a Facebook message with the details of my fitness bar.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.